Today is a car shuffling day. We're gonna be moving some cars around. Alright, so today we're going to work on the 69 Mustang. I got just a bunch of little things that need done on it. Got a whole laundry list of things. And we're going to put on a nice set of louvers on the back. Because, I mean, 69 Mustangs, you have to have louvers on them. Mainly just make this so that it's reliable, that I can drive it more than 100 feet from the house here and take care of just all those little things. So, time to do it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to paint the deck lid black. I think they did it on the Boss models, and I just always thought it looked best when you had louvers on to have a black deck lid. So I'm going to do a quick spray paint job. You know, I just rattle canned this whole car with red oxide primer, and I'm going to rattle can the deck lid. I also rattle canned the hood, and I did kind of a two-step where I did a satin black, and then I did a flat black on top, and then wet sanded it down, and it gave it a nice flat look. And so I'm just going to do the same thing for the deck lid. You know, it's wild. As a primer, it really looks smooth and flat, but now, like, I'm seeing all the dents and scratches and all that, but it'll be flat black here in a minute, and all my troubles will disappear. I see a big dent right there. Okay, now the flat black. The wind blew a big blob of dust in, but that's okay because, you know, this is going to get wet sanded. Semi-gloss and then flat black, and now I'll wet sand it probably tomorrow once it dries real well. We have a painted deck lid for $12. Okay, so while I got the black paint and tape out, I've also got this weird crack that happened on the hood scoop. I'm not sure why. It appeared about a year ago. It hasn't gotten any worse, but it hasn't gotten better either. So I'm going to do a quick patch on it and see how well I can blend into this, and I don't know, wish me luck. Okay, so I sanded it down as much as I think it needs to be, and now I'm going to take off this tape, which protected the area from the sanding. And now I'll show you a little trick that I'm going to do to help me paint this. Okay, so here is step one, and what you do is you take the masking tape and you roll it up into a tube, and then you stick it down on there as best you can. And what this does is it allows you to feather the edge a bit more so that you don't have a harsh masking tape line. And so as long as I can get straight up above this and shoot straight down, it'll kind of soften the edge, and then when I go to wet sand it smooth, it'll be a lot better. So I'm going to finish masking off the area. So there we go. It's all in place. And now I'll just hit it a couple times, first with the semi-gloss and then the matte black. And it should end up looking like that. Okay, it's super cold and wet out. And so this stuff is drying pretty slowly. So while that's drying, I am going to yank out this front seat because I need under the dash for the next thing. So, okay, the seat is out, and I got two things I'm going to take care of in here. Number one, I have no interior lights. There should be two lights underneath the dash, and there should be a dome light, and there should be a couple of, like, what they call cabin lights. And so I want to figure out why I don't have those. Also, something that's driving me nuts is, you see how high that clutch pedal is? It should be even with the brake pedal, and it's because there is a rubber stopper bumper thing that's missing way up under the dash. So I've got a new one of those. I'm going to put that on and find out where my lights are. Okay, so the deck lid, it's all nice and dry. I got some 400 grit sandpaper, a nice bucket of warm water, and I'll do a quick wet sand and just take it down a little bit to the satin black and semi-gloss, and just give it a little bit of shine. Okay, so there we go. We got a nice kind of flat shine, and yeah, I ended up using a little bit of a scouring pad and the 400, and yeah, looks pretty good. It's I may do a little bit more to it. There's still a little bit of a sand mark in it, but this is only like 10 or 15 minutes, and I think I'll start taking off some tape. So there we go. There it is, all unmasked. Kind of high-class ratty muscle car look. It always looks a little better after it gets a couple of washes, some soap and water on it. And so, yeah, that'll look good. And then here is the little square. Now you see it's a little shiny. This is before the wet sanding. But you can see how there's no sharp edges from the masking tape. And so now I'll do the wet sanding, and it should blend in pretty well. Whoops, it's still wet. There's a little bit of a high spot there, but it'll be good enough. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the louvers. So this is the real deal. These are aluminum, not plastic. No cheap crap for this car. And so these are the, what is it, National Parts Depot, whatever that is. And so this, I've never done these before, of course. Not a lot of 69 Mustang fastbacks in my life. So there's a rubber seal that goes all the way around, and you have to oil the channel. So fortunately, I had just picked up this nice needle-nosed oil. And so I was able to put some little drops all the way around. So now I'm going to slide it up in. Okay, I just wrestled with this thing for 2 hours. Not fun. It's now dark out. I thought I'd have it mounted by now. Tomorrow, I'm actually sweating. I worked up a sweat trying to chase this thing around. It's pulled back just a little bit there already. So I'm going to let it sit overnight, and tomorrow I'll finish chasing it around. But yeah, that was not easy. Set aside some time if you're doing one of these. Okay, so I got the gasket all worked around. I got the chrome hinges on, ready to start putting it on the window and figuring out where the holes go. I also managed to do the wet sanding on the patch, and it disappeared pretty well. You can see a little bit of an outline. It's definitely better than what it was before. I'll show you the before picture now, and so after. And so yeah, it moved it in the right direction. It's better than that big crack thing that was there. And part of my reason for wanting louvers, I don't know if it's going to show up, but there's huge scratches in the back window of this thing. So this car was pretty rough when I got it, and the field it was in, the lady had two big dogs, and they were running up the back, and I think they're what scratched up the glass, and then they were laying on the roof, and they had collapsed the roof down in, and it was easy to fix because there's no headliner, so I was able to bang it out and hammer and dolly it and get it pretty decent. Yeah, there's no headliner, so it's pretty easy to get to. I did get the cabin lights all working, even under the dash here. And over there, it was a pretty simple combination of a bad ground, some bad light bulbs, and no fuse. And there's no back seat. Yeah, there's not much of a back seat. So I think the louvers will, cover that up, make it look a little nicer, hide it a bit. Okay, the louvers are on and mounted and complete. I like it with the black deck lid. I think that looks great. They went on pretty easily. Less time than it took to put the gasket around them, the rubber seal. But yeah, it looks awesome. And that part is done. Now I got some clutch adjustment and the rubber bumper for the clutch pedal, cabin lights, that kind of stuff. Probably tomorrow I'll get to that. Okay, we're under the 69. A few months ago, I put on basically a whole new front suspension here. Control arms, tie rod ends, sway bar, all that good stuff. Bushings. And so today, one of my things to do was just make sure I'd gotten all the grease zerks filled and of course adjust the clutch, which I got that done. And so yeah, I'm anxious to actually get this on pavement and see how it does. It's only been on the dirt roads. I have about a half-mile nasty dirt roads till the highway, and so I've just been on them because also I need to get this registered and plated and all that good stuff. The roads are so bad, in fact, I cracked my spoiler the last time I went out and had to patch it back together. Okay, so the seat's back in, and I got it back down on the ground, and louvers are on. Tomorrow, I want to work on the idle and the timing. I rebuilt the carburetor recently, and so that kind of threw everything out of whack a little bit. So, yeah, tomorrow we'll do that. So in keeping in line with doing things to this car that I've been wanting to do for a while now, today I think I'm gonna wet sand the whole car. And part of the thought is I kind of like right here where I've been leaning over the fender working on it, it's gotten kind of shiny. So this whole car I spray painted with red oxide primer, because I was doing it in just such small pieces. I'd have an hour or two, so I'd fix a couple door dings and then spray paint it real quick just to cover up the metal. I think what I want to do now is just go through, wet sand the whole thing, give it a little bit of shine. You can kind of see on the roof there, it has that spray paint look to it. And so I think it might be kind of a cool experiment. I like how it worked on the hood and the deck lid, and so yeah, I'm gonna do it. I got a warm bucket of water here because it's only like 20 degrees outside, so that's part of it too. I can't really open the door to set the idle and do the timing and all that good stuff, so I think I'll wet sand.
The reason why we're all here is because we're not all there. Making some tracks. Just spare me the facts. There's a place you turn up lots of space. I gotta try. It's a place where I've heard there's a mythical bird, and the heat is sort of dry. I don't know if that's true. Oh no, spread my wings and fly to Phoenix, oh beautiful Phoenix. Oh baby, don't cry. Get some Kleenex. We're going to Phoenix.
Okay, so I'm not sure the wet sanding is going to show up too much on camera. It looks pretty good in person. It got rid of some of that spray paint-ish look, I guess. So it's kind of cool. It's all dialed in. I'm going to pull it out. It's a little bit nicer today. Hopefully get some glamour shots and get ready. I have a 49 F1 coming in, and we're going to get the flathead engine running for the Model A.
Well, here come the birds. Oh no, wait. They're those helicopters. That's right. That's right. I'm still in Phoenix. Beige, bone white, bland. Sometimes I hear birds, but songs turn into cockfights, and the bleached blood stains become visions of the Virgin of Guadalupe. Another media circus. That's right, that's right, that's right. I'm still in Phoenix, where Glenn Campbell and Alice Cooper play golf. 12 steps to righteousness, well preserved in air-conditioned splendor, as I choke back the fears and tears in a dust storm. Now my shirt is muddy. Hey buddy, give me $1, 'cause I need a quart of malt liquor to wash this shit down. Here in the park, ducks in a row, a wagon train of grocery carts head down to a dry river